Hey guys! Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. As you probably can tell by the title and thumbnail of the video, we're making a headdress today. I love headdresses. I really think as, well, if you go to a ball, you could just wear a plain black dress. But if you have the headdress on, hello, you know, head turner, crowd pleaser, you'll have your picture taken a million times because you're the one sporting a beautiful headdress. If you're a performer, well, you know, depending upon what kind of piece you're doing, what message you're trying to convey, of course, a beautiful headdress will really, you know, intensify the energy or story you're telling, or the dance you're doing. I used to belly dance and fire dance. I've done that, I don't know, for about 20 years. I'm retired. I mainly focus on my business, which is Dark Fusion Boutique, if you're new here. I'm a business owner. I think I'm coming upon 12 years now of sewing, but I used to dance. I loved making headdresses for myself when I performed. Like I said, it just really brought on a whole nother element to the costumes. Okay, so just now I got really curious to see if I had any of my old headdresses around, because I kind of wanted to show you in person some of my older work, and maybe you can see the progression into, well, what I do now. So yeah, let's start off with the year 2002. So in 2002, I had really big dreadlocks. I let my hair grow out in dreads for like 13 years, but I had really big dreads, so I had a lot of volume going on. So anything I made pretty much stayed on my head because of my dreads. I'd also wear a lot of kind of ornate scarves just around the top. And this was just a little piece I would kind of put underneath one of my scarves. Kind of, you can see a little bit of the Egyptian, I guess, kind of influence, the little coins. There's rhinestones. Yep, this is just a layering piece. It usually would go under something. And probably around my serpentine days, I'd wear probably more something like this. I might have worn this underneath somehow. I'm not sure, but yep, just metal pendants, and it's basically a headband. It's kind of like a headdress. Later on, got a little bit more ornate and started to build upwards. I kind of call this my Burger King headdress. It looks like one of those cardboard crowns you could get at the restaurant. Basically made out of cardboard and duct tape, I can see here. Chain, pendants, tied around the back of my head. Yeah, I loved it. Also had a couple shows where we wore more white, so I made myself one of these. And again, you have to envision I had a lot of hair, so I had a lot of bangs kind of coming down and a lot of volume up here. It doesn't, I'm sure it doesn't really look right on me with just kind of a flat head or flat hair, so to speak, but you get an idea. Alright, this is a piece made out of a lot of antique jewelry. This headdress, alright, I'm going to hold it up, I'm not going to put it on. Alright, now I wore this a few times. Oh my gosh, my hair is getting messy. I wore this a few times, but each performance I wore for, I added to it. So I made kind of these editions, so I can't really see what I'm doing. I don't know if these are hanging right, but yeah, it was a big, beautiful headdress. Alright, so there you go. The headdress I'm going to be making today doesn't look anything like these old ones. You'll see. It goes more upright rather than out. This is a fun piece. Let's get back to the headdress we're making today. When I make a headdress, I often work on a styrofoam head and pin all the pieces to the head. So this is it. Like I said, everything is pinned on right now. It's not an actual headdress. It's a million different pieces. But yeah, I wanted to give you a little look at, well, how it looks now. And here's the back. I like when headdresses are also ornate in the back because, well, people see the back, and I think it's nice to have something interesting going on in the back. And yeah, I really love the overall shape of it. I like the circles, I like the straight lines. Obviously some of these little dangles will go away later. My favorite part about this headdress is this little tea light holder. Now, I thought it would look great, just kind of nested on top. Eventually I'll drill holes through this and wire it on so it doesn't come off ever. But I think with a little electronic maybe tea light inside, it'd be really cool. Like as far as a sculpture, I don't know if you can see like how it goes, but having that element right there is pretty cool. So, like I said, everything's pinned on. I'm going to start taking it apart and figuring out how to make it go on your head. It looks great right now on this styrofoam head, but sometimes, like what I've planned out on a styrofoam head doesn't really translate to a human head really well. For example, these pieces right here might come out too far or cover your eyes. I don't know, it might not hang right. So as I'm starting to build it, I will be looking in the mirror a lot, trying it on to see how everything fits me. But yeah, and I'm making the base. It'll have to attach in the back as well. I'm going to make sure the base, the base that goes up here, I'm going to make sure it kind of bends. So if like someone has a wider head than me or this dress form, then it'll accommodate for a wider head or even for a smaller head. So there's a lot of things I need to pay attention to while I'm making this headdress. But for now, I'm going to take it apart and we're going to go crazy and try to put this back together. I'm so excited. She looks so good. Well, this is all the bits and pieces that created the headdress. Isn't it amazing? You know, if you just see all these bits and pieces just kind of on their own, like, no big deal. But when combined, a magical headdress. So, I think the first thing I need to problem solve is this. Alright. This upper piece needs to be attached to, like I said before, kind of a headband. So that's the first thing I'm gonna think about and work on. Alright, well, I've made some progress. So, here she is with the base all put on. I made the base by hand. It even features a little pointy part in front. Because if you recall, well, the original plan was to have kind of a point in front. So I built a base even for that pointy applique. But yeah, this is really turning out well. Everything's pretty nice and symmetrical so far. I have little O-rings on the bottom part here which will attach to kind of string to tie around your head. That's one way to make a headdress like this adjustable. It's bendy for bigger and smaller heads. This was just a normal kind of applique that I basically stiffened. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than I did all this work off camera because you guys, I'm trying to keep this family-friendly channel. And I wasn't speaking very good language when I was working on this. It fought with me because, well, this applique, for example, didn't come symmetrical. So I just spent time kind of evening that part out, and there's just a lot of work to do. I really also wanted to make sure this isn't going to slide off your head. So that involved some work, but yeah, with all my tricks, I think I got it. Looks good, feels good so far. So, my next step is layering on the parts and pieces. This is pretty much going to be the next piece, I think. Alright? Now, if you recall, I was really worried about this kind of landing in a weird spot. Well, I tried this on earlier with this piece layered on top, and it does. It comes to a weird place on my face. So I went ahead and found these kind of half circle beaded and studded appliques, and I think they will look good if kind of layered under here. I want them to kind of flare out on the sides. If you notice, she's got kind of she's got a curve here, and having maybe a big curve here would be lovely. I'll probably do a few things to make this match up with up here a little bit more, and trying to make sure it flares out. And this would be a great place to hang, I don't know, I've got crystals. I've got a bunch of other supplies I could actually use. I could hang like neat crystals off of here. I'm going to get back to work because I got a lot to do, obviously. Well, this is the next day. I had to go ahead and let these half circle parts dry. As you saw, I glued kind of an interesting kind of stiff, I don't know, backing to these appliques, because you will see actually the back. Anyway, so yeah, I glue these pieces together kind of just with tacky glue, and I added some of these metal kind of, I don't know, studs, just to reflect or match up with the parts on top a little bit. You're not going to be able to see this piece too much because, well, it's going to be buried under other ornate things, but I at least wanted to get these on to match on top. Alright, so I have the other half moon already attached, or partially attached. I'm working right now. As you can see, I have a dangerous needle and thread sticking out. But yeah, I'm getting it attached. I've been trying it on as I go to make sure it looks good on a human. Now, I told you guys I wanted these to flare out just a little bit. And what I had to do to make that happen is I don't know if you can see, but I made kind of these tabs. And they're stuffed with stuffing, so they stick out. But this, oops, is allowing, you can see the back here, right here. It's kind of pushing out the applique, so they flare out a little bit. So that's working nice. I wish I would have known I had to make these tabs when I was building the base of the headdress. I just kind of would have built that right in. Like, it doesn't look super duper duper fancy, but it's not too bad. No one's really gonna see it, I don't think, after you know, add all the kind of glittery leaves in the back. But anyway, and I want to get back to talking about the base really quick. I keep talking about the base, and here's kind of what I built on the inside, and that's my Dark Fusion Boutique Fleur de Lis tag already sewn in. I keep talking about the base just because you need something nice and firm, you need something sturdy, something just kind of tough and rugged, alright? Like, you can't like sew a beautiful headdress on a headband like this. There's no way. You know, this is plastic, this will probably disintegrate and break after time, plus these bottom parts right here, I don't know, for me, they generally pinch, you know, kind of behind my ear area. They tend to pinch, so that's not comfortable. Don't recommend doing that. And again, certainly don't sew a headdress onto one of these. And here's just a cloth headband. Again, don't sew an entire headdress onto a cloth headband like this. Doesn't work. Don't think about it. Alright, well, this is what I have so far. She's looking so good. I have a couple of pieces pinned on still, but for the most part everything has been sewn down. Something I did find that I loved was this chain fringe trim. This piece is very kind of structured, and having the flowy kind of chain on the bottom is a really nice touch. And since this piece is like very symmetrical and structured right now, I'm definitely going to continue with my plan to add the kind of glittery golden foliage of those leaves. So they'll be kind of poking out on the sides, little wispies on the sides and along the top. They'll be a little bit asymmetrical, which is perfect balance to this very, you know, structured symmetrical piece. I have to still figure out how to attach the tea light. And, oh, there's a few other details I'm missing, but so far so good. I could just, you know, finish sewing the few things that I've pinned and call it good. You know, I could call it a finished piece, but you know what? I've got OCD. I ain't stopping yet. You guys to see kind of how it looks like right now. Can't really see what I'm doing, but hopefully you guys can. Alright. This is just the idea of how it looks so far. Alright, I'm going to get back to work and update you guys again really soon. Well, I finished the headdress, and to celebrate, I found a little electronic tea light and put the tea light in the tea light holder. Here she is. Well, I thought I'd play dress up for you guys. Here she is. Now, while working on this, it definitely developed a life of its own. It told me what to do. I wound up using pretty much all the little things I intended to use and added just a few more little finishing touches to make this truly a one-of-a-kind magical piece. Now, I didn't mention earlier, or at least I don't think I did, I use a lot of items that were destined to go to the landfill. I often run out and collect things from rummage sales, thrift stores, even parts and pieces I might find on my daily walks. And I was able to use probably 30%, close to 40%, of just items that were going to go in the trash. So I'm really happy to help save the earth, you know, and hopefully this headdress will go to a wonderful new home, someone who loves it and cherishes it for years to come or even decades to come. I feel like this is a very powerful piece. It's right in time for the fall season and even winter season, as well the weather's changed and I definitely felt fall coming on, so I feel like this is more of a fall piece, especially with kind of the sparkly, dewy looking foliage happening. And one other thing I forgot to tell you guys is that the little tea light holder is not permanently attached. It comes on and off with Velcro. Here's the little electronic tea light. But it goes on and off with Velcro. So having it detached like this, I thought was a really nice touch. For example, if this was to be worn for performance, perhaps another performer could come along and offer the lit tea light into the holder. Or if someone doesn't like this big object right here, well, it can be removed easily. And the headdress looks just fine without the tea light. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to help me out, please subscribe to this channel. Please comment, even if it's just to say hi. Please hit the like button. Please share this video with your friends. I will talk to you again very, very soon. Bye!